All right, so we're going to do a couple more verifying problems, and these ones are going to look a little bit grosser. So here we have cotangent of 4u minus 1 and cotangent of 4u plus 1. And we're trying to get this over to be tangents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these to be tangents. So cotangent is the same thing as the reciprocal to tangent. So I can rewrite cotangent of 4u as 1 over the tangent of 4u. They're reciprocals of each other, minus 1. Same thing in my denominator, 1 over the tangent of 4u plus 1. Since we're trying to get these over to be tangents. Now I have fractions within fractions, and we're going to need to get to common denominators so that we can simplify this left-hand side, because it's looking kind of gross. So we have 1 over tangent of 4u minus tangent of 4u over tangent of 4u. Same thing in my denominator. We're going to take this 1 over tangent 4u, and we're going to make this common denominators. Tangent 4u over tangent 4u. And I know it looks super duper gross right now. So let's fix these fractions within fractions to just make it 1. We're going to combine those common denominator pieces. So I have 1 minus tangent 4u over tangent 4u, because we got that common denominator. And then my bottom piece, my denominator piece, we have 1 plus tangent 4u over tangent 4u. So now that I have the numerator and the denominator both simplified down to be a single fraction, I can multiply by the reciprocal to get this to be not fractions of fractions. So I'm going to take my numerator, my 1 minus the tangent of 4u over tangent 4u times the reciprocal of the denominator. So we have tangent of 4u over 1 plus tangent 4u. And we can see that when we're multiplying these two fractions together, my numerator and my denominator cancel out. So we're left with 1 minus tangent of 4u over 1 plus tangent of 4u. And I can't really see anything else we can simplify, so let's go back up to the top and take a check. We've actually gotten this exactly where this one started. Both sides of this are kind of messy. So when we have things that are both messy on both sides, see if we can get one into terms of the other. So by switching cotangent into tangent, we made it match the right-hand side. And we're going to follow the same kind of vibe on the next one, where we take and make them match in terms of which trig functions we're using. So here's our last verifying, and it's our first one that has two variables in it. So I have sine of x cosine y and sine of x sine of y over cosine x cosine y minus sine x sine y. And we want to see if that equals tangent of x plus tangent of y minus, or over 1 minus tangent of x tangent of y. And this side does look longer, but honestly, I can't really see anything I can do with that. And we know that tangent is the same thing as sine over cosine. So what I'm actually going to do is, instead of playing with the longer side, I'm going to play with the side that has fractions within fractions. Because then we'll be able to actually simplify things. Oops. So I'm going to rewrite my fraction, and I'm going to switch every single tangent into sine and cosine. So I'm going to take my tangent of x to be sine of x over cosine x. And my tangent of y is going to become sine of y over cosine of y. In my denominator, we have 1 minus sine of x over cosine x times sine of y cosine y. So then what we're going to do is we are going to get to common denominators. So in my numerator, I'm going to have a denominator of cosine x, cosine y, which is going to make my numerator sine x cosine y plus sine y cosine x. And in my denominator, I'm going to do common denominators again. And my way I'm going to do that is I'm going to multiply the right hand piece of sine x sine y cosine x cosine y. And it's going to get the common denominator of sine x. Oh, nope, sorry, cosines. Cosine x, cosine y, over cosine x, cosine y. So we're going to make this the denominator into a common denominator here. So let's simplify everything. My numerator is going to be as it is. Sine x cosine y sine y cosine x over cosine x cosine y, and the denominator is cosine x cosine y minus sine x sine y over cosine of x cosine of y. And these get really, really long sometimes, and that's okay. So now I've got this big gigantor fraction, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this out and we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to write this all again, one more time to write every single piece here before we can start canceling stuff out. Sine x cosine y plus sine y cosine x all over cosine x cosine y. And we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to have cosine x cosine y over cosine x cosine y minus sine x sine y, it fits kind of mostly. And we can see this piece and this piece cancels out, and it's going to give us one big fraction. This should be our last time here. Sine of x cosine y plus sine of y cosine x over cosine x cosine y minus sine of x sine of y. And that is actually what we were trying to get to. This up here is exactly this piece here. So all we had to do was switch it into, all we had to do was switch it into sine and cosine, and then get to common denominators and simplify it all the way down. Okay, so that's as gross as our verifying is going to get at this time.